The Great Pyramid of Giza holds a secret chamber we never knew existed. This is the thrilling reality of modern archaeology, where advanced technology is revealing hidden voids and rooms inside the world's most famous monuments. You are about to explore 20 of these incredible discoveries, from a lost tunnel filled with liquid mercury in Mexico to a sealed medieval sarcophagus beneath a Paris cathedral. By the end, you will see these iconic landmarks in a completely new light, understanding the sophisticated engineering and profound secrets their builders left behind. What could be waiting inside an unopened tomb in China? And why was a river of mercury placed deep under an ancient temple? These are not just empty spaces, they are time capsules, each one rewriting a piece of our shared history. What do you think is the greatest mystery still hidden within these ancient walls? Deep within the Great Pyramid, a secret waits in plain sight. High above the Grand Gallery, a cavernous space hides behind millions of stone blocks. This is the Big Void, a chamber so large it could easily swallow a commercial airliner. Its discovery in 2017 did not come from a tunneling archaeologist, but from subatomic particles raining down from space. An international team called Scan Pyramids used a revolutionary method known as Muon tomography. Think of it as a cosmic X-ray. Muons, tiny particles generated naturally in our atmosphere, pass through solid rock. By placing special detectors inside the pyramid, scientists could map where these particles traveled freely, revealing hidden emptiness. They found a void at least 30 meters long, a staggering blank spot on the pyramid's internal map. This is the first major new space found inside the Great Pyramid since the 19th century, and its purpose is a complete enigma. Some experts argue it is a structural feature, a relieving chamber built to divert the immense weight of the pyramid away from the Grand Gallery below. Others whisper a more tantalizing possibility. Could this be a sealed repository, a time capsule deliberately filled with artifacts from the reign of Pharaoh Khufu, untouched for 4,500 years? The existence of the Big Void fundamentally challenges our confidence. We thought we knew this structure, the last surviving wonder of the ancient world. Now we must admit we have only been exploring its antechambers. The true heart of the pyramid and the secrets of the Fourth Dynasty may still be locked away, waiting for a technology clever enough to reveal its contents without ever breaking a single stone. That profound mystery of a hidden chamber echoes far beyond the sands of Egypt. Across the ocean, beneath the immense pyramid of the feathered serpent in the ancient city of Teotihuacan, lies a discovery just as baffling. For nearly 1,800 years, a tunnel network lay completely sealed, a forgotten passage into the underworld. Its rediscovery began in 2003, not with a shovel, but with radar waves scanning deep below the temple floor. Archaeologists led by Sergio Gomez Chaves used ground-penetrating radar to map the void. The task was so delicate they even sent a small robot, equipped with a camera, to navigate the dark, cramped space first. What they found at the tunnel's end defied all expectation. A chamber glistened with a pool of liquid mercury. In the ancient world, this substance was extraordinarily rare and difficult to produce. Its presence here was not accidental. Researchers believe this shimmering, toxic river was a powerful symbolic barrier, representing a lake or river of the underworld in Mesoamerican belief. It was meant to guard something of immense spiritual value, perhaps a royal tomb or a sacred relic, though conclusive evidence of a burial has yet to be found. The entire tunnel was a meticulous recreation of the cosmos. The long, dark passage represented the journey to the afterlife, while the final chamber, filled with priceless offerings, symbolized the celestial realm. Thousands of artifacts were left here as ritual gifts, from exquisite jade statues and mirrors made of pyrite that shone like gold to the remains of jaguars and wolves. This was not a place for the living, but a sacred stage for the elite to communicate with the gods. The discovery does more than illuminate the spiritual mind of Teotihuacan. It showcases a quiet revolution in archaeology. The entire investigation was conducted with minimal physical intrusion, using technology to see through stone and send robotic scouts ahead. This respectful approach preserved a fragile site, allowing us to learn its secrets without causing it harm, a principle that would soon unlock another great enigma, this one hidden within a jungle temple. A sealed crypt lies beneath the central tower of Angkor, a ghostly echo of a city we are only just beginning to comprehend. The iconic spires and vast moats of this Cambodian wonder have defined it for centuries, yet the true scale of the complex was buried, both by jungle and by time. The breakthrough came not from excavation but from the sky. Archaeologists using airborne laser scanning, a technology known as LiDAR, pierced the dense forest canopy to map the ground below. What they revealed was a hidden cityscape of foundations, roads, and canals sprawling far beyond the main temple, a sprawling urban center that supported a vast population. Even more startling were the secrets hidden within the temple's own footprint. Ground-penetrating radar uncovered the bases of additional towers and entire structural foundations concealed beneath the stone courtyards. These are not just piles of rubble, they are the ghosts of earlier construction phases, showing that Angkor Wat was a living, evolving project built and rebuilt over generations. One chamber in particular, discovered near the sacred central tower, is believed to be a sealed crypt. Its contents are a complete mystery, possibly holding ritual offerings to consecrate the site or even the remains of revered individuals. This hidden architecture forces a dramatic reappraisal. Angkor Wat was not a static monument, but the pulsing heart of a massive, sophisticated city. Its sudden abandonment in the 15th century has long been a historical puzzle. Did environmental strain from its immense population cause a collapse? Did political upheaval force a mass exodus? The answers may lie in these buried chambers, waiting for the careful hand of an archaeologist to reveal their story. This discovery proves that our greatest monuments are often palimpsests, with older versions of themselves written just beneath the surface, a truth that resonates powerfully as we cross continents to a cathedral in the heart of Paris. Beneath the charred timbers and fallen stone of Notre-Dame, a secret long protected by the cathedral's own floor was waiting. The catastrophic fire of 2019, while a profound loss, created an unprecedented opportunity for archaeological investigation. As workers stabilized the structure, they inserted endoscopic cameras into the ground, peering into spaces no living person had seen for centuries. The cameras revealed a chamber containing a perfectly preserved lead sarcophagus, its metal surface still intact after 700 years. Its shape was distinctly human, tapered where the feet would lie, a telltale sign of a high-status burial from the 14th century. This was not a simple grave, but the final resting place of someone of immense importance, perhaps a senior canon, a wealthy patron, or even an architect who had witnessed the cathedral's own rise into the sky. The sarcophagus was found nestled among the stone fragments of older rood screens, the decorative walls that once separated the choir from the congregation, placing this individual at the very heart of the medieval church's sacred space. For archaeologists, the coffin's sealed state is a gift beyond measure. It offers a pristine time capsule, protecting not just skeletal remains but also textiles, pollen, and even parasites that can tell a detailed story of this person's life, health, and the world they inhabited. This single discovery brings a poignant silver lining to the tragedy, rewriting the biography of Notre-Dame itself. It reminds us that from the ashes of disaster, new histories can emerge, proving that our greatest monuments are never finished telling their stories. This theme of destruction preserving secrets finds its ultimate expression far to the south, where a volcanic eruption created a time capsule on an even more staggering scale. The plaster wall in that Pompeian house looked perfectly ordinary, yet it concealed a family's most intimate secret. In 2018, as part of the Great Pompeii project, archaeologists carefully picked away at the volcanic rock in Reggio 5 and found a lararium, a household shrine, but this one was different. Behind its brilliantly colored frescoes, a narrow opening led to a small, sealed chamber. This was not a space for public display, but a deeply private vault for a family's spiritual life. Inside, time had stopped. Bronze vessels sat where they were last placed. Amulets lay beside the carbonized remains of food offerings, a final ritual meal interrupted by the very ash that preserved it. The frescoes themselves told a story of a connected world. Among the mythological scenes was a rare depiction of a man with the head of a dog, a figure scholars believe represents the Egyptian god Anubis. His presence in a Roman home is stunning evidence of cultural exchange, a blending of beliefs across the vast empire. This hidden room offers a heartbreakingly personal snapshot. We are not looking at grand history, but at the quiet moments of devotion from a middle-class family, their prayers and offerings frozen in the final hours before Vesuvius erupted. It proves that even in a city excavated for centuries, untouched spaces still wait, preserving the breath of daily life. This intimate connection to an individual family's faith finds a strange parallel in a discovery made half a world away, where an entire civilization chose to hide its greatest treasures not behind plaster, but beneath the foundations of a mighty fortress. A stone wall in a Luxor tomb looked solid and unyielding, but it was a masterful deception. In the Theban Necropolis, a place scoured by archaeologists for 2 centuries, a team led by the renowned Dr. Zahi Hawass made a discovery in 2020 that proved the sands of Egypt still held breathtaking secrets. They were investigating a known tomb when their meticulous work revealed a slight inconsistency in the masonry, a false wall that concealed a hidden chamber. Behind it lay a silent congregation of more than 30 individuals, their coffins and mummies perfectly preserved from the late period, a time over 2,500 years ago. These were not just any burials. Each coffin was a work of art, adorned with brilliant golden masks and colorful cartonnage, a type of painted plaster and linen that depicted the deceased in idealized forms, ready for the afterlife. The chamber held the remains of priests and priestesses devoted to the powerful god Ammon, the supreme deity of Thebes. Alongside them were Ushabti figurines, small statues intended to serve the dead in the next world, and precious fragments of papyri, some likely containing spells from the Book of the Dead. The coffins were stacked in 2 layers, a practical solution for a crowded family tomb, and their incredible state of preservation, with paint as vibrant as the day it was applied, suggests they were sealed in haste. This was likely a protective measure against the ever-present threat of tomb robbers, a final act of devotion that successfully shielded these elite members of society for millennia. This single chamber provides a crystal-clear snapshot of Theban religious life and burial customs, revealing the intricate hierarchy that served the gods. It stands as a powerful reminder that our maps of the ancient world are still full of blank spaces. Even in the most studied corners of the globe, like the Valley of the Kings, entire chapters of history remain bricked up and waiting, a testament to the patience of stone and the persistence of human curiosity. This same principle of hidden riches would soon be proven true in a completely different landscape among the cloud forests of Peru. High in the Peruvian Andes, the stone terraces of Machu Picchu hold more than just the memory of a lost empire. Recent surveys using drones and thermal imaging have peeled back the grassy surface to reveal a hidden world of water channels and chambers carved directly into the bedrock. This is not merely an ancient plumbing system, it is a masterpiece of concealed engineering. The Inca built with an intuitive understanding of the mountain itself, designing these subterranean passages to follow the natural contours and fractures in the stone. Water was directed with breathtaking precision, flowing through hidden conduits that may have served as drainage during torrential rains, as serene ritual baths for spiritual purification, or even as clandestine escape routes for the royal family in a time of crisis. Imagine the strategic genius of a civilization that could hide its most vital resource and its potential paths to safety in plain sight. The control of water was a source of ultimate power, especially during punishing droughts, and its ceremonial use connected the Inca directly to their deities. This discovery transforms our view of the site from a beautiful royal retreat into a complex living machine. Every terrace, every wall, and every hidden channel worked in concert, a testament to a philosophy that saw no separation between human settlement and the natural world. The Inca did not conquer this mountain, they partnered with it, weaving their architecture so seamlessly into the landscape that its most functional elements became invisible. This profound connection to the environment and the need for hidden passages finds a stark parallel in the cold stone of a medieval fortress, where secrecy was not a matter of philosophy, but one of survival. The stone of Dover Castle has always held its stories close, but recent scans have peeled back another layer of its long history. During a modern renovation project, surveyors employed three-dimensional laser scanning to map the network of known tunnels, only to find the scanners reading empty space where the chalk bedrock should have been solid. This was not the familiar labyrinth of World War II, but something far older, a secret web of medieval passages dating to the 12th and 13th centuries. These tunnels were not accidental voids, they were deliberately carved and then expertly hidden behind false walls of masonry, their entrances blending seamlessly with the surrounding stone. Their purpose was born from the brutal necessities of siege warfare. When an enemy army was at the gate, these passages became the castle's hidden arteries. One large, deep chamber shows no signs of habitation, its temperature consistently cool. Archaeologists believe this was a clandestine larder, a cold storage room designed to protect vital food supplies from capture or spoilage. Other, smaller chambers bear the marks of human presence, with carved niches in the walls that once held oil lamps and the faint, ancient soot of torches still staining the ceiling. This suggests they served as garrison quarters for a hidden guard, or perhaps as a secure meeting point for commanders planning their defense away from prying eyes. This discovery does more than add rooms to a blueprint, it reveals the castle's mind. The Normans who built this fortress understood that true strength lay not just in high walls, but in the secrets those walls contained. The ability to move men and supplies unseen, to sustain a garrison in secret, could mean the difference between surrender and survival. Dover Castle was not just a shield against invasion, it was a masterpiece of strategic deception, with each era adding its own hidden chapter to the story. This same impulse to conceal the sacred and the precious within stone would guide builders in a very different context as we venture into the heart of a Roman temple complex. The stone floors of Westminster Abbey have absorbed 1,000 years of whispers, yet one secret remained perfectly sealed beneath them. During a delicate conservation project in the chapter house, a building used by monks for daily meetings, ground-penetrating radar uncovered a void directly under the main floor. This was not a simple cavity, but a carefully constructed vault, a time capsule from the 13th century. Inside, archaeologists found a treasure trove not of gold, but of history itself. The chamber was filled with thousands of medieval floor tiles, many still bearing their original intricate patterns, alongside beautifully carved stone fragments and pieces of stained glass from the earliest Gothic phase of the Abbey's construction. These materials were likely gathered and hidden away during a later renovation, deliberately preserved by workers who understood the value of what they were covering up. For historians, this is a priceless archive. Each fragment of stone tells a story about the medieval masons who shaped it, their tools and their techniques. The vibrant colors of the glass speak to the rich pigments available to them. The collection even hints at something more profound, the possible presence of human remains, perhaps early abbots or royal benefactors who were part of the Abbey's founding story. This hidden chamber is especially vital because the Abbey's history before the Norman conquest is shrouded in mystery, with very few written records surviving. The vault fills a critical gap, offering physical evidence of the site's continuous evolution from its earliest days. It proves that even in the world's most famous buildings, the most important discoveries are not always above our heads, but sometimes directly beneath our feet. This pattern of sacred spaces safeguarding their origins is a global phenomenon, one that becomes strikingly clear when we journey to an ancient city in the Middle East, where a temple of a different faith revealed a treasure no one expected. The rose-red cliffs of Petra have guarded their secrets for 2,000 years, yet modern technology has found a way to ask the stones what they are hiding. High above the city's main canyon, near the revered high place of sacrifice, drone photography and thermal imaging revealed an anomaly in the rock face. A previously unknown chamber was carved directly into the cliff, its entrance so perfectly concealed by natural rock formations that generations of explorers had walked right past it. This was no simple grotto. It was a carefully engineered space, likely serving as a sacred ritual room or a final resting place for Nabatean elites. Access required climbing a narrow, hidden staircase, most of which has now crumbled into dust, leaving the chamber isolated and silent. Initial remote probes, using cameras on long poles, have detected ceramic offering vessels and inscriptions carved in the elegant Nabatean script. These texts could finally unlock the precise nature of the ceremonies performed at the high place, revealing which gods were worshipped and how the kingdom's powerful priestly class communicated with the divine. This discovery is a hallmark of the ongoing Petra archaeological project, which is systematically scanning every inch of the vast site with non-invasive tools. The known tombs and temples that draw millions of visitors are truly just the tip of the iceberg. Beneath and behind them lies a sprawling urban landscape of hidden villas, administrative centers, and sacred spaces, all mapped from the air. The Nabateans were masters of hydraulic engineering and desert trade, but they were also geniuses of concealment. They built their most important spaces with an eye toward both sanctity and secrecy, integrating them so completely with the natural world that they became invisible. This profound desire to hide the sacred away from prying eyes is a thread that connects civilizations across the globe. It finds its ultimate expression in the Far East, where one of history's most famous tombs uses an entire army of clay soldiers to stand guard over a secret that remains perfectly intact. The silent army of terracotta warriors stands guard over a secret far greater than itself, while the thousands of clay soldiers are a global icon, they are merely the outer sentinels for the true prize, the unopened tomb mound of China's first emperor, Qin Shi Huang. Recent surveys using magnetic and gravitational scans have painted a startling picture of what lies beneath the Earth. The data reveals a labyrinth of unchambered voids and structures, a hidden necropolis waiting in perfect darkness. Ancient texts like those of the historian Sima Qian describe extraordinary features within this underground palace, including rivers and seas of shimmering mercury, crossbows rigged to fire at intruders, and replicas of the emperor's entire kingdom. The geophysical anomalies now confirm these stories are more than just legend. They suggest a central burial chamber, likely containing the emperor's remains, surrounded by a network of auxiliary rooms. These hidden spaces could hold the ultimate treasures of the Qin dynasty, from priceless jade burial suits designed to grant immortality to magnificent bronze ritual vessels and untold hoards of gold. The lead archaeologist for the site, Zhang Zhongli, theorizes the entire complex is a microcosm of the emperor's realm, with the Mercury rivers mapping onto the Great Yellow and Yangtze. This was not just a tomb, it was a conduit to the next world, a perfect replica of his power meant to last for eternity. Yet this incredible discovery presents a profound ethical dilemma. The same historical accounts that describe its wonders also warn of extremely high levels of toxic mercury vapor, a deadly barrier that has preserved the site for over 2,000 years. Any attempt to open the chambers could trigger a catastrophic preservation event, causing priceless silks, lacquerware, and even the emperor's own remains to crumble to dust upon contact with the air. Do we dare to unveil these secrets, knowing we might destroy them in the process, or do we leave this chapter of history sealed, respecting the emperor's final wish for an eternal, undisturbed rest? This modern conflict between knowledge and preservation finds a chilling parallel in our next discovery, where the foundations of a grand cathedral conceal a legacy not of empire but of a devastating plague. The soaring stone of Chartres Cathedral was built upon a foundation of silence and bone. During a recent renovation, workers investigating the stability of the choir floor discovered a narrow void. They lowered an endoscopic camera, a tiny electronic eye, into the darkness and found themselves staring into a wall of human remains. This was a hidden ossuary, a chamber where the bones of hundreds of individuals had been neatly stacked and organized, likely transferred from the cathedral's overcrowded medieval cemetery during an earlier phase of construction. The sheer number of skeletons provides a stark demographic record of a millennium of life and death in a bustling pilgrimage town. Archaeologists studying the bones have identified the marks of hard labor, the ravages of common illnesses, and the traumatic injuries that shaped these medieval lives. These were not kings or saints, but ordinary people, perhaps pilgrims who died far from home, local parishioners, or even the clergy who served the cathedral itself. The chamber's location is profoundly significant, placed directly beneath the choir, the most sacred part of the church where the divine mass was performed. This was not a disrespectful discard pile, but a sanctified resting place, a collective tomb for a community held in high spiritual esteem. It forces us to see past the grandeur of the stained glass and flying buttresses to remember the human cost and devotion that raised such a monument. These silent, stacked bones are the cathedral's true cornerstone, a hidden ledger of faith, suffering, and hope. This intimate connection between architecture and the people it shelters finds a chilling counterpoint in a palace where the walls were designed not to hold the dead, but to capture the whispers of the living. The gilded halls of Versailles whispered with secrets carried through the very walls. Behind the ornate panels and beneath the marble floors, a hidden circulatory system allowed the palace to function. Advanced architectural scans have now mapped this extensive network of passages, revealing narrow spiral staircases used by servants carrying meals, concealed doors that opened into the private studies of ministers, and tiny alcoves perfect for storing supplies or perhaps for eavesdropping on a crucial conversation. This was the ultimate stage management. For King Louis XIV, the Sun King, public life was a continuous performance of absolute power. The hidden corridors ensured that the royal family and their staff could move invisibly, preserving the illusion of divine omnipresence. A servant could appear as if from nowhere to refill a glass, and a courtier could slip away from a tedious reception without causing a stir. But these passages were not just for convenience, they were tools of statecraft. In a court where a misplaced word could lead to exile, the ability to listen unseen or to arrange a clandestine meeting was a potent form of power. Some of these routes led directly to the king's private apartments, allowing trusted advisors to come and go without public scrutiny. Others may have served as emergency escape routes during times of political unrest. The discovery of these utilitarian spaces pulls back the velvet curtain on the monarchy's greatest magic trick. The effortless luxury on display was supported by a complex, unseen machinery of human labor and architectural cunning. It reminds us that for all its grandeur, Versailles was a living, breathing organism of intrigue, where the most important transactions happened not in the Hall of Mirrors, but in the silent spaces just behind it. This world of hidden human activity stands in stark contrast to our next discovery, where an entire civilization chose to vanish so completely that its memory was erased for over 1,000 years. In Herculaneum, a beachfront town silenced alongside Pompeii, a wall in the suburban baths was not what it seemed. During a structural survey in 2021, part of the ongoing Herculaneum conservation project, advanced imaging technology detected a hollow space hidden behind the plaster. The team, working with painstaking care, chipped away a small section to reveal a perfectly sealed chamber. The room had been instantly filled and preserved by the same superheated volcanic flow that carbonized the entire town, creating an airtight time capsule from the year 79. Inside, the ordinary became extraordinary. A wooden bed frame, its legs and headboard still intact, stood against one wall. A cabinet contained neatly folded textiles, their delicate fibers preserved in stunning detail. There were even the carbonized remains of a meal, a final snack left behind in the frantic final moments. This was not a grand public space, but a private storage room or changing area for the bath's more affluent patrons. The quality of the woodworking and the presence of such personal items offer a heartbreakingly intimate glimpse into the domestic life of Herculaneum's elite, a world of comfort and routine frozen at its peak. This discovery was only possible through a non-invasive approach. Researchers used ground-penetrating radar to map the voids within the solidified ash, allowing them to pinpoint the chamber's location before making a single, careful incision into the wall. This method protected the incredibly fragile organic materials, which would have turned to dust if exposed to the air too quickly. The volcanic eruption was a horrific tragedy, yet it acted as a perfect preservative, sealing away these mundane moments of Roman life with a fidelity that no tomb or temple could ever match. We are not looking at how these people prepared for death, but at how they lived. This theme of disaster as an accidental archaeologist finds a powerful echo in a very different kind of sacred space, where a temple's deep foundations were built to guard ritual secrets for eternity. Deep beneath the colossal columns of Karnak's hypostyle hall, the very first stones were laid upon a sacred promise. Recent excavations by the French-Egyptian Center for the Study of the Temples of Karnak have uncovered these promises, hidden in the form of small, sealed chambers buried at the temple's foundations. These are not grand treasure troves, but something far more revealing: foundation deposits. Imagine the scene over 3,000 years ago as priests and builders gathered during the temple's construction in the New Kingdom. Before the massive sandstone blocks were set into place, they would carve out a small niche in the ground, a ritual act to consecrate the site for the god Amun-Ra. Into these cavities, they carefully placed a collection of objects chosen for their spiritual power. Archaeologists found exquisite faience amulets, their blue-green glaze still brilliant, depicting protective deities like Bes and Taweret. There were miniature model tools, perfect replicas of chisels and saws, symbolizing the act of creation itself. Most importantly, they discovered small inscribed plaques, some bearing the cartouche of the pharaoh who commissioned this section of the hall, providing a precise timestamp for this phase of Karnak's endless construction. This was a profound act of state-sponsored magic. Each deposit was a spiritual anchor, a metaphysical battery intended to channel divine favor into the structure and ensure its stability for all eternity. The temple was not merely a building to its creators, it was a living entity, a cosmic engine that required constant ritual maintenance to function. These hidden caches were its lifeblood, placed with the solemn belief that the monument's physical endurance was directly tied to its spiritual integrity. This intimate connection between architecture and belief, between stone and soul, finds a stark and sobering contrast in our next location. From a temple sanctified for a god, we journey to a fortress where hidden spaces were designed not for divine favor, but for human confinement and the grim secrets of state power. The stone walls of Edinburgh Castle hold more than just the echoes of royal ceremonies. Deep within its foundations, shielded by meters of solid rock, archaeologists have mapped a network of forgotten prison vaults. These were not the official dungeons of record, but secret holding cells from the 17th and 18th centuries, used during the turbulent Jacobite rebellions to imprison captured soldiers and political dissidents. The discovery came through ground-penetrating radar, which revealed voids that did not appear on any historical blueprint, their entrances bricked over and concealed. When researchers finally gained access, they found a time capsule of human suffering. The walls were covered in intricate graffiti, names and dates painstakingly carved by men counting the days of their captivity. Rusted iron shackles still hung from rings set into the stone, and the floors yielded personal artifacts like clay pipes and simple gaming pieces, tiny comforts in a world of profound darkness. This hidden complex forces a stark reappraisal of the castle's identity. While tourists walk the grand halls above, they are often unaware of the despair that festered just beneath their feet. The castle was not merely a symbol of Scottish power, it was an active instrument of control, a place where enemies of the crown were broken in body and spirit. Historians believe some of these specific chambers were used for interrogation, their remote location ensuring that no scream would ever reach the outside world. This discovery peels back the castle's majestic veneer to reveal a raw social history written not in stone, but in the desperate scratches of its prisoners. It proves that the most compelling stories are often the ones a monument tries hardest to hide, a lesson that carries us from the cold damp of a Scottish fortress to the sun-drenched labyrinth of an ancient Cretan palace. The myth of the Minotaur's labyrinth at Knossos was far more than a legend. Recent geophysical surveys have peeled back the soil of Crete to reveal a hidden reality beneath the Muon palace. Using a method called electrical resistivity tomography, which maps underground structures by measuring how easily electric currents pass through the soil, researchers have charted a network of additional subterranean storerooms and corridors. These are not minor closets, but substantial chambers that formed part of the original Bronze Age complex, suggesting the palace was a sprawling, multi-level citadel far larger than the ruins we see today. These hidden spaces were the economic engine of the palace, likely crammed with towering pithoi jars overflowing with olive oil, wine, and grain, the agricultural surplus that funded Minoan wealth. Other chambers may have held ceremonial goods, intricate riten vessels for libations, or even administrative records on fragile clay tablets. Their concealed nature was a deliberate strategy, protecting these vital resources from theft, fire, or the earthquakes that frequently shook the island. This reflects the incredibly advanced organizational skills of a society that managed its economy with the precision of a modern warehouse. The labyrinth was not just a mythical monster's den, it was a functional, highly secure storage facility. Archaeologists from the Herculaneum Archaeological Museum now speculate that these very corridors, with their confusing, interconnecting layout, directly inspired the ancient tale of the Minotaur. The discovery adds a profound layer of truth to the story, suggesting that visitors from mainland Greece, encountering this vast, bewildering complex, could easily have believed a monstrous hybrid creature lurked within its confusing depths. Future excavations hold the potential to unearth artifacts that could finally decipher the mysterious linear, a script, or reveal new details about Minoan religious rituals. This find proves that even a site as famous as Knossos, excavated for over a century, still has entire wings waiting in the dark, a testament to the endless depths of the ancient world. That same principle of hidden structural genius is etched into the very stones of a medieval cathedral, where the highest spire guards a secret left by the hands that built it. High up in the spires of Cologne Cathedral, a stone sealed a personal message from the past. During a delicate restoration of the Twin Towers, workers discovered a small chamber intentionally hidden within the Gothic stonework, a space the original builders never intended anyone to see again. Inside, time had stood still since 1880, the year the cathedral was finally completed after 6 centuries of intermittent construction. This was not a sacred relic chamber, but a workshop time capsule. Resting on a ledge were the humble tools of the trade, a mason's trowel and a set of compasses, left behind by the hands that shaped the final stones. Beside them sat a bottle of wine, perhaps for a celebration that never happened within the spire, and documents carefully signed by the master architects themselves. These items were not official records for posterity, they were deeply personal tokens. The mason's marks, those unique signatures carved into the stone, connected a name to a specific block, transforming the vast, anonymous facade into a collective work of individual pride. In an age of rising industrialization, this final act of construction was a defiant nod to tradition, a last hidden gesture from the guilds that built Europe. The cathedral workshop, which manages the site, treated the find with reverence, recognizing it as a direct bridge to the human spirit behind the monument. It reminds us that these colossal structures are not just feats of engineering, but the crystallized ambition and labor of generations. Every stone is a story, and every spire holds a secret left by those who dared to reach for the heavens. This profound connection between human aspiration and celestial alignment finds its ultimate expression in our final discovery, where an entire temple was designed as a clock for the gods. The ground beneath Stonehenge holds a hidden architecture of the mind. Around the iconic stone circle, ground-penetrating radar has uncovered a vast ceremonial landscape, a ghostly imprint of a much grander design. The Stonehenge Hidden Landscapes project revealed a ring of deep, wide shafts, each one a subterranean chamber carved into the chalk bedrock over 4,500 years ago. These were not simple holes in the ground. They form a perfect circle nearly 2 kilometers in diameter, a boundary that would have separated the sacred center from the profane outer world. Inside this colossal arena, other hidden pits and post holes tell a story of a living, evolving ritual site. Some of these chambers held towering wooden posts, long since decayed, while others may have contained offerings to the earth or the remains of revered ancestors. Their precise arrangement reveals a staggering fact. The Neolithic builders possessed a sophisticated understanding of geometry and astronomy, aligning these subterranean markers with celestial events like the solstices. This was not a static monument, but the vibrant, beating heart of a vast sacred geography. The familiar stones we see today are merely the last surviving actors on a stage that has since been swallowed by the earth. The discovery shatters the old image of Stonehenge as an isolated ring of stones, replacing it with a vision of a sprawling complex, a Neolithic cathedral whose foundations were as much about hidden voids as they were about towering monoliths. It proves that the most powerful statements of belief were often made not by what was erected, but by what was deliberately buried. From the Mercury-filled tunnels of Teotihuacan to the sealed Ossuary of Chartres Cathedral, these 20 hidden chambers share a common thread. They are not architectural accidents but deliberate acts of concealment. Each one was created with a profound purpose, to protect something of immense value, whether it was a pharaoh's journey to the afterlife, a community's spiritual offerings, or a state's most vital secrets. They reveal a universal human drive to build not just for the present but for eternity, to leave a message in stone that would outlast empires. The true magic lies in our own relentless curiosity. We are now, with our cosmic X-rays and laser scans, finally learning to read these messages without destroying them. We are discovering that our greatest monuments are palimpsests, their deepest truths waiting patiently in the dark, reminding us that history is never a closed book, but a story with hidden chapters still being read. The stones themselves are now speaking to us, revealing secrets sealed for millennia. From the colossal void within the Great Pyramid to the clandestine tunnels of Dover Castle, these 20 hidden chambers have collectively unveiled a new layer of human history. They prove that our most iconic monuments are not static relics gathering dust, but living, breathing puzzles waiting for the right moment to be solved. The common thread weaving through each discovery is our revolutionary new key to the past, technology like Muon tomography and LiDAR. These tools allow us to peer through solid stone and dense jungle canopy, unlocking the stories held within without ever swinging a pickaxe. This is a quiet revolution in archaeology, one that prioritizes preservation over intrusion, ensuring these fragile sites remain intact for the generations of explorers yet to come. What emerges from the silence of these chambers are universal human themes, a timeless drive for secrecy, a profound search for spiritual connection, and the raw, pragmatic will to survive. Whether it was a pharaoh safeguarding his journey to the afterlife, a medieval community sanctifying its dead, or a fortress commander hiding his supplies, the impulse to conceal what is most precious is a constant across continents and centuries. This leaves us with a thrilling question. What other voids, tombs, and tunnels lie completely undiscovered within the world's most studied structures? The pursuit of these answers urges us to support the patient work of archaeologists and to continue exploring with a sense of respect and boundless wonder. Let these discoveries inspire you to look a little closer at the familiar landmarks in your own world, for history has a habit of hiding in plain sight, just waiting for a curious eye to notice. I would love to hear which of these hidden chambers captured your imagination the most. Was it the River of Mercury in Teotihuacan, the sealed sarcophagus of Notre-Dame, or the unopened tomb of China's first emperor? Share your thoughts in the comments below, and if you enjoyed this journey into the mysteries of our past, be sure to subscribe for more.